Hey girl, today, before we dive into this episode, I just want to take a moment to check in with you. This episode feels especially meaningful to share right now because just 4 days ago, I lost my mom. So here I am recording again on a Sunday. This is hopefully not going to become the pattern, but it just has been the way it's been the last few weeks under the circumstances. So this will drop tomorrow on Monday, the first Monday of May. So welcome to May, girl. Speaking of May, this is my mom's birthday month. And last night I got to go enjoy the beautiful full moon. And that first full moon in May is called the flower moon, which was especially meaningful and beautiful to me last night out at the beach. Because my mom's name is Margarita, and that is the Spanish word for daisy. So I just thought that was just really special to me last night. I wanted to share that. But so I am obviously in this space of grief and probably the deepest, most painful loss that I've ever had. But it's also, of course, causes reflection and reminders once again of just how precious our life is, how every moment, every minute, every moment of our life is just so, so precious, and just how important it is that we don't lose ourselves in the process of living it. Does that make sense? Like, just to truly be present and live our lives. And when the time is right, I believe I will probably record another episode that surrounds this very meaningful time for me. But today I have something a little different, a little special for you that I want to share, because a few weeks ago I had the honor of being a guest on The Human Show. This is a podcast by one of my peers and friends, Trish Heron. She's a life coach. And I got to be a part of her series that she called the Joy Revival series. And I was just honored to be one of the several guests that she had on this series. And she gave the title to the episode that she has on her podcast that I was the guest on. She gave that title, she made that title, The Power of a Rockstar Mindset. And I can't think of a more aligned message right now, because joy isn't something that we wait for. It truly is something that we can have and be and embody on the inside. It's something that we can choose. And so, because of that, joy isn't something that we wait for, and it's something we learn. We learn to connect with on the inside. I keep on hitting my microphone. But even in the hard seasons, there's joy. In this conversation with Trish, we talk about what it really takes to create a lasting change from the inside out. I do talk about my story, and just the idea that through mindset, energy, and becoming the woman that you're meant to be, that's what this episode is about. And I really hope that it meets you right where you are today. I find the timing to not be coincidental, just the right timing that I get to share this episode with you at this time. And so I'm just thankful for this chance to share it. And if you have been struggling in your weight loss, in your health and your fitness, and you want help with that, I know I can help you. I've helped hundreds of women to not just work on, macros and calories and their fitness programming, but the thing that matters the most, and that is our mindset. And if you want help, that's the only way it's going to work, right? Because I know for myself and for many people that I have helped, the only way we're going to make progress, really achieve the goals that we want to achieve and have lasting change, is we have to want that. And so if you're at that place where you really want that and you're ready, I don't think we can ever be ready, but when you want that, I want you to know that I'm here for you. In fact, I'm going to be hosting our next Kickstart Round 14 at the end of May. And this is my 6 week program, my 6 week small group program where I will guide you individually yourself for this 6 weeks, step by step, in really developing a system that works for you. Because I understand, we can have motivation, we can have a plan, we can have all these things. But until we really have a system that we can execute that's individualized and that works for you and your life, it's just going to continue to be a struggle. And I know I can help you. So if you're interested in being a part of this, I highly recommend that you check out the show notes and just go sign up today. I'm gathering everybody together. There are going to be limited spots, but this is Kickstart round 14. And I'm super excited for this round. So yeah, go look at the show notes, check out the link. And if you have any questions, I'm here for you. Just reach out, whether it's social media or email Anna@rockthatfitness.com. So, all right, let's get into today's episode.
Hey folks, thanks for being here. I'm super excited to have a really cool guest with me today. Welcome to the show, Anna Rockstar, aka Anna Wilson. Hey girl.
So glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I feel so special.
Oh, I'm super excited. Also, I wanted to show you because I knew you were going to be wearing Rock That Fitness gear. So I was
knew.
Like, so I wore my life coach t-shirt.
All right.
I was like, I want to wear some gear too.
Always be branding.
Yeah, right. You always have your cool RTF gear.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get into the business, I would love for you to share with listeners something about you that has nothing to do with your business.
Nothing to do with my business? Okay. Nothing to do with, I kind of feel like it's all intertwined, but I am a singer in my local rock band. I have a rock band and I am the lead singer. It's called Flying Free. So that doesn't really have anything to do with my business, but that is one of the things I do for fun. Been doing that for years and I have a blast. We were a cover band singing classic rock, blues, some country, some pop, and we just have a blast putting on a show. So this is nothing to do with my business, I guess.
No, I love it though. Because I think often we don't, a lot of people who are, maybe seeing you on social media or seeing other coaches and things, they don't often get a glimpse into the rest of their life, right? So I think it's super fun. And I saw your pictures from your St. Patrick's Day show, which was super fun.
Yeah, that was our first show of the year. And funny thing, we hadn't done a show for 5 months. Like I think our last show was on Halloween. So
oh wow.
But I have all of our shows booked out for the year.
Okay.
And that just happened to be the first show of the year was St. Patrick's Day celebration. And yeah, that was a really fun show. And thankfully my voice held out because, your voice is also a muscle and it was not, I haven't been singing a whole lot. And so it was great. It was really fun. It was a really good show. And also in that 5 months, I have new followers in my audience and new clients that are like, I didn't know you sang in a band. That's just been something I've done all my life since I was a little girl. I love to sing and perform.
Yeah, it's so fun. All right, well then now let's get into the business. So now go ahead and tell everybody about your business. What do you do as a coach?
Well, first, I just want to say it is truly an honor to be here. I feel very privileged, and it's just very special that we connected in December of 2025. And I just want to say that this is just, I don't know, it's a divine appointment. And it was really cool seeing you at BBD, the conference. And we were walking through the halls and you're all pointing at me, Rock That Fitness. And I was like, what? And you said you were on my email list and you've been in my world. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah. So do I know you?
So thank you. I just feel just very honored to be here and to get to be connected and introduced to your world and your beautiful people, which I'm sure they're amazing because you are very amazing. I love your energy. It was cool hanging out with you, having dinner with you. So I'm gonna say that. Um, I don't know what you want to know about me. I had a pretty significant physical transformation in 2017 and 2018, where I had been dieting all my life and struggled with my weight. I was 46 years old, and not only that, working full time, overtime all the time, a family, my kids, my three kids. I was over 60 pounds overweight at the time, and it had just come to a point for me that I needed to really do this in a way that I was like, I was serious because I was concerned for my health at that point. Going upstairs, winded, chest pains at night. And I would be asking my husband, do you know CPR? And I'm a nurse. Like I said, I was a nurse working all the time. And I was really concerned, like what would happen to me? What would happen to my family and my loved ones if something happened to me? So it was a significant turning point for me. And I hope no woman has to get to the point where they're concerned about their life, but it turned into something even more amazing. And as I started to have this physical transformation with my weight loss, I achieved physical goals for myself that I had never achieved before in my body composition. So I didn't just lose weight. I didn't want to just lose weight at the time. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to shed fat. I wanted to be a fit chick. Like I had this vision. I'd never seen this fit chick before, but in my mind, I'm like, she's got to be in there. And I was 46 years old, 2017, looking in the mirror, and I have a picture of this, and it's like that look, like I was pretty darn serious. And anyway, long story short, I had this transformation that drew a lot of attention from a lot of other women, and I grew a following on the social app of Weight Watchers. Pretty big following. Probably 46,000 women were following my transformation at the time. But I'm a nurse and I understood nutrition and, more like the scientific stuff, all of the macros and calories and all of this. Well, one thing led to another. People wanted me to help them. I was starting to help women with their nutrition and their fitness. They wanted to start strength training because that's something I did differently that I'd never done before, even though I had dieted and I love exercise and I've been doing the exercise classes and I've been jogging and running and riding my bike, but I struggled with my weight because of my nutrition. But more importantly, well, let me continue this. So I started helping women and I just started to really, really have a strong passion for this in a way that, like, I was having difficulty focusing on my work as a nurse in the OR. I was constantly thinking I wanted to do this. And I saw that there were some other people doing coaching online. I said, you know what? I was helping some women online. I'm like, I could do this. So at the end of 2019, I made a decision that I was going to do that. I left all dieting because I knew that dieting programs and all dieting was not something that was sustainable. It was not a lifestyle. And I was sick and tired of starting over and doing diets. I knew I needed to do something different for myself because I had built a body that required a different type of attention, was attention to nourishment and feeding myself well and knowing that my calorie expenditure was being supported by the way that I was eating so that I could maintain this strong body that I had built at 47, 46, 47 years old. And now I'm 55 and I've been doing this. So I started my business online in 2020, right? I call it, what do they call it, BC, before COVID. And I had a lot of women that wanted to learn from me. And I was just determined to help other women finally be free from dieting and find a method that was proven not just to get results, but to maintain results. And that's when I hired a business coach online, figure out how do I do this thing? And I said, I just want to start a membership because I think if I just start with one woman at a time, I wasn't going to reach very many. As like in my heart, I wanted to help many women. I know I'm going on. This is a story, but I wanted to help a lot of women and just helping them one-on-one wasn't going to do the trick. And I started this thing called Rock That Fitness because my business coach said, you need to have a name for this. And I was like, Rock That Fitness, because,
I play in a band. I love music. So I just called it Rock That Fitness. So it's been the same, but just stuck. And I had this nickname, Anna Rockstar, from the social media thing. And that's another story I won't go into. But so it's called Rock That Fitness. And I started a membership of women that hopped right on board. And this thing just started to grow momentum. And I have been helping women ever since. And I cannot believe we're in year 6 now of Rock That Fitness. And it has just been a tremendous ride and such an honor and a privilege. And it's just become my life. And it's my life work, it's my life passion. It is, it just goes so much deeper than nutrition plans, fitness plans. It's helping women change their thinking, their thought patterns, their behaviors, so that they can truly connect with themselves and make lasting change physically and mentally. So that's a long story. I hope that's what you wanted.
That was amazing. No, thank you. I knew some of your story already about your transformation, but I had no idea that you were like famous on Weight Watchers. So
I don't know if I don't know about famous. It's funny because I will still from time to time get a new client that says, Anna, I've been following you since WW. And I'm like, what?
wow.
And I'm like, wow, we're like, this is a family reunion. I love this. You've gotten to see my evolution.
Yeah, for sure. That is so cool. Yeah, so so one of the reasons I wanted to, talk to you because I'm kind of focusing on coaches that help women reconnect with their joy. And you kind of mentioned some of that already. And, one of the reasons I love your whole approach is that you're not just like, it's not just fitness, it's not just nutrition, it's not just physical aspects. Like, I consider your coaching to be sort of like not even whole body, it's like whole being, because you consider
Mm.
mindset and energy and how you feel overall, not just physically. And I love that about your approach to your coaching. And so can you just talk a little bit about that and kind of elaborate on that and how, I don't know, this whole how you got there, like this just being able to see women. I feel like you can really see them. And I think the women that come into your space and into your circle feel really seen. And I think that's such an important part and why you're such a successful coach.
Oh my gosh, you're so kind. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I will say this. It's not something that happened overnight. Like I remember when I turned 50 because I'm 55 now. But I remember those first couple of years after my transformation, I was figuring it out too, helping women and really seeing them. So that has been also an evolution for myself. Excuse me, but this is tough to like really explain that. I can not explain it. It really is energy, and energy is everything, as you and I both know, everything. And it's not just energy like calorie expenditure energy in and out. It's energy and frequency and the vibration that we choose to live in. And that really is a science. I mean, Einstein talks about it. Excuse me, I don't know. Let me get a drink of water. But, I don't think it's woo woo. I truly believe that there's a science behind it and it goes pretty darn deep. And for me, the reason I feel like I'm able to see women, which is at this point, and I'm not saying I've arrived, but I'm saying in my journey today, in my mindset journey, I'm able to see women and in a way that's very deep, that kind of it's mind blowing to me. It's not something like I'm not special. I mean, we all are in our own way, but I mean, like, it's just been a journey in my own personal growth, which when I turned 50, I remember starting to really have more insight on life, on just reflecting on why we're here and our purpose and what we're meant for more. And I really started to lean into becoming more awareness, became more of a key for me. And I was quote unquote diagnosed with ADHD. And I learned that I had this quote unquote diagnosis when I had my first child, because after when she was in her first grade, she got diagnosed with this ADHD thing. And then I realized, well, so hello, that's been something I've dealt with all my life. Now I understand. But I've always been high achieving and, working, ambitious, you know, A student, teacher's pet, because I was always wanting to please. But I realized that I did what I would call at the time struggle with awareness and focus. So I wanted to get better at that. And so for myself, I wanted to do that for my own personal growth, because I needed to show up better for myself and for my clients and in my business. And I felt very scattered, like all over the place. I didn't feel like I was really good at schedules. I didn't feel like I was good at time management. But I let go of the label of ADHD. I let go of all labels and realized that this is who I am. This was how I was created. So whatever challenges I might have don't matter as much as the gifts that I have personally that are uniquely mine. And this goes for all of us, to let go of any kind of label. I know I'm getting deep here, but I think it's applicable, because when I started Rock That Fitness, my three pillars are nutrition, fitness, and mindset. And all of my clients who have ever had a testimony or said something great about being a part of Rock That Fitness and me as their coach, that always has come out. Like, I love the approach for nutrition. I love that we're strength training and fitness and taking care of our body and self-care, self-love all day, every day. But the thing that they always walk away with and share with everybody is that their mindset has changed. And I didn't really know what the heck I was doing. I was just leading the way, you know? But I really do think that when I personally leaned more into mindset and my own mindful practice, which has been over 4 years, probably 5 years, I stopped counting. But when I started my own mindful practice on a daily basis, that is really when things took off for me and my personal growth. When I started to have a deeper understanding of human nature and how it's not our fault. We have programming that we are unaware of. And the great, beautiful thing is that when we start learning more about how our mind works and we become more aware, then we have more power to make changes and not feel guilt or shame or something's wrong with us. There's just, oh, it's just another part of my body that I can train and that I can have transformation in. So that's why in the past few years, I have pushed or leaned more into that mindset stuff and just unapologetically, because I know that you can have the best training program, fitness, you can have the best nutrition plan and meal plan. But if you don't do anything about making real change in how you think and believe, then you're going to continue to struggle in your fitness journey and in your fat loss and in your weight loss. And truly, you will continue to struggle with your self acceptance and love and in your life. So this matters. And I care deeply about it. So while I do train on fitness and fat loss with nutrition, sometimes I kind of feel like I'm throwing that out there as bait, if you will, because women want to lose weight, and they want to lose fat and they want to get strong and build muscle and they want to get active and have a workout. And I was that too. And so I am helping them with that. But then the bigger picture becomes, oh, wow, there's so much more. And it's so empowering. And it's a beautiful thing to actually not just experience yourself, but me as a coach to get to actually see it happening is, I mean, I don't know, it's a gift to me to watch it happen and to be a part of it. So I know that's a long, but there's the answer I think that you might have been asking about.
It wasn't too long. It was amazing. And
Okay.
yeah, I can see why you keep doing what you're doing, because seeing that transformation and that impact and sort of, this ripple effect that your work has is incredible and so rewarding. Like, how could you not want to keep doing that, right? I mean, it just lights you up.
Yeah, it really does. And I'll say this, just in my humanness, whenever I'm having a rough day or a day where I'm low vibration, how I can raise my vibe is to just remember love, number one. Love. Show up with love in this world and gratitude, gratefulness. And that just shifts my whole state of being. And then to the next thing, giving that love and care towards others and then seeing them light up. And then it's just that, I guess, it just amplifies that vibration and that frequency. But it's an ongoing thing for sure. But knowing what your purpose is and knowing that there's so much more than just um, all the day-to-day stuff and the strategies and the plans. There's more to life, and when we can find that and be in peace with that, it's so freeing.
Yeah, I think freeing is such a great word for it too, because we get trapped in a lot of our conditioning, right? Like you mentioned, programming. And
Yeah,
I think, like you said, awareness is so powerful. And being aware first that you do have programming, like a lot of the patterns, the habits you have, they've been there since you were a kid, like they were ingrained in you, right? And I
yeah,
think it's so powerful to acknowledge, oh, this is happening because I'm programmed that way, I'm conditioned that way. And then the next powerful step is to know that you can reprogram, right? And that's sounds like that's part of what you do because you incorporate mindset. It's like, okay,
yeah,
let's reprogram, because you could do a diet every year, lose 10 pounds, and then you gain it back because all you're doing is changing your physical activities, but
yeah,
you're not changing
yes,
what's happening in your brain. So
exactly.
that's why so many, I mean, like you talked about what you did, like you dieted and you lost weight and that, but it didn't stick. I feel like
Yeah,
that's like the age old story, right? Like
yeah,
if you ask
like,
if you
yeah,
polled women, it's probably like, I don't know, I'm making it up, 75%, right? Women have tried diets and then it does, nothing sticks, nothing
right,
sticks. And they try a
right,
different one next time and a different one next time, and nothing is sustainable. And
right.
I think it's what you're talking about because they're not changing their mindset and reprogramming the old stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it goes beyond doing that because there's more than just that. Like there's both things. There's repeating an activity, repeating a behavior until it becomes ingrained and it becomes second nature. That's one part of it. Because when you can repeat healthy behaviors until they become a habit, this is when your subconscious part of your mind believes you and it helps you to start to establish a new identity, if you will. And this is the piece that is different than just doing something, because I'm sure you've heard that quote, that concept that Tony Robbins talks about, and a lot of people talk about, where it's like, you know, people they have it all backwards. They're trying to do things like diets and exercise. They're doing these things so that they can have the result of being healthy and fit and strong. But this is a pattern of doing and trying to have that keeps people stuck, because what needs to happen is to show up as if, to be that person. When you are that person and you are being that person, then naturally what's going to happen is that's the person that shows up to do those things. And when that person's showing up to do those things, then the results are inevitable. But people are skipping this piece of being. Who are you? Because when you are just doing, trying to get and have the other things, and doing these things in a behavior of the old identity, striving, efforting, chasing after, it's hard, got to do all, oh my God, this is hard work. is it really hard to the person who's already healthy, fit, strong, living their life freely, enjoying food freely, enjoying their workouts, enjoying life? It's not, because they're being that person who does the thing. But it's not something that happens overnight. We have to truly make the effort. We have to show up for our mindset piece. And this is the part that becomes, not everybody's going to do it. You know, Trish, people aren't going to do it because it's a natural human tendency to look for the quick fix. It's a natural human tendency to find the easy button. What's the next thing? We want instant gratification. And sadly, that behavior continues to repeat. And all you're doing is old behavior. You're just being the old you. You got to go, you got to start showing up differently if you want different results. Be someone different. And what does that person do? So, you know, I remember when I first started coaching and putting out content, and I remember saying, got to change your mindset, got to change your mindset. Well, we can talk about that all day, but what does that really mean? You know? And that's why I wanted to know what I needed to do to change my mindset, because I had issues that I wanted to work on, which were, in my mind, looking back, I'm sure a lot of women were, you know, deal with that, like procrastination or not feeling good enough. Oh my gosh, that's a big one. Not feeling good. But those things hold us back, and we've got to work on those things. And it takes courage to acknowledge them, to accept them, and be coachable and be willing to ask for help. That's the part where women are struggling, because they don't want to ask for help, and they don't want to admit, they don't want to be honest with themselves because it's uncomfortable. And that's just the subconscious mind trying to keep you feeling comfortable and safe and protected. And you already know all that stuff. We can go, keep going.
Well, I mean, we could keep going on that. Yeah, like the point when you said about, yeah, like women don't want to ask for help. And that's a big one. And I think a lot of women, this is a problem because that's it's part of our conditioning from the time we were young. Like we have to not only take care of ourselves, but we got to take care of everybody else around us. Like that's kind of this, for a lot of women, what they learned at a young age. So it's like, well, I can't ask for help because I have to handle it. I have to handle everything.
Yeah.
And then now we're grown-ups and we need so much help. And we're like terrified to ask for it, because what does that look like? Am I weak? Am I incapable? Am I, what will people think? Like there's so much, right? There's so much fear around asking for help. And I think that's one of the big hurdles, right? Like we're not meant to do it all alone. None of us.
No.
We're not meant to go through life alone, carrying everything. Like we're meant to be in community and doing things together. So
well,
I just wanted to echo that
too? Yeah, I want to elaborate on what you're saying, because I work with many high achieving women who are in the workplace. They have careers or they're running a business. And there's this, I don't know, there's like this pride or this idea that, saying like, look at everything I've got to do. Like there's this martyrdom. Like we have done this to ourselves. Like we're like working, overtime all day, and we're dealing with everything, all the responsibilities of the home and the family, and then extra responsibilities with whatever they are, your child's activities with school, sports, whatever, PT, all the stuff. And women are taking a lot of pride in doing all these things, like wearing this badge of pride and honor for, look at all that I do, when sadly they're not doing themselves a favor. They're doing themselves a disservice and singing this song like, I'm every woman, anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Like we have a capacity to do amazing and a lot of things, but truly we're not really being as effective as we could be if we could just be and relax and not feel like we have to control everything and do everything and say yes to everything. And then what happens? Then women are complaining. I do everything. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Who wants me? I can't even show up. How am I supposed to work out? I don't even have time to work out. I don't have time to prep my food. I don't have time to eat healthy. Like I remember this because I was that person. Like I knew what to do. I knew, but I felt this sense of like, how am I supposed to, how can I do that? But we create our own reality, you know. I've learned that over the years. It's not something that happens overnight, but we can change that. We can. We just have to recognize it. And the hardest part about being aware is remembering to be aware.
100%. Yeah.
And the way to help you become more aware is I want to encourage women to have mindful practice. And what does that mean? Showing up in the morning for just a few minutes of intention, showing up in your day, like some quiet time by yourself. And I'm not talking about a Bible study or a devotion, which that's nice too. That's great. That's important. Your spiritual life is very important, but I'm talking about intentional time in the morning where you set your intentions, where you're grateful, you're thankful and grateful for so many things and how you want to show up today. And that mindful practice, if you start doing meditation, is a brain training. Meditation will help you. There's a lot of different types of meditation, but just to keep things simple, meditation, if you start small, you can actually train your brain to be more focused and more aware. And that's key to becoming more aware throughout your day.
So so you mentioned before that you have a daily mindful practice. So is this, can you share what that looks like? Yeah.
Yeah. For years when people would talk about meditate, I think this is becoming more and more like accepted and understood and kind of more mainstream now. But for years, I thought meditation was like, people like doing nothing for like an hour. Like I thought it was some weird woo-woo spiritual religious thing, and it was not attractive to me. And I'm a busy person. I ain't got time for that, I'm just telling you how I used to think. But then when I realized that, hey, there's like some neuroscience behind this, as a nurse, I get geeked out on science, and I'm like, wow, we can actually change our brain. It's a thing called neuroplasticity. And this made me excited for meditation, for doing a mindful practice. And when I say there's different methods, there are, because there's just different types of meditation. So I won't get into all the different types, but for me, I really wanted to get better at focusing and becoming more aware throughout my day. And aware of what? Aware of my behaviors, aware of why I'm having these behaviors, aware of my emotions and my attitude, aware of how I respond or react. Like all of these things really mattered to me in my relationships, with myself and with others. Everything. It impacts everything. And so that was exciting to me. And I wanted to learn more. Now there's a lot of apps out there. Like, you want to start meditating, just there's an app for that, right? And there's a bunch of them. It's like, which one? And I started like looking, like I wanted something to get started. I didn't know. I had reached out to somebody who was a professional in this field for mindset for athletes. Oh my gosh. I can't remember his name. That's so bad. I'm going to give credit where credit is due, but I reached out to him because he's a mindset coach for athletes. And he told me that, because I was like, what do you do? And he gave me some options. He said, these are some apps that I would recommend. So I looked at those. And the one that I chose it's now called Happier. And Dan Harris, who was a news anchor, actually created this app. And he had a whole personal experience with his own mindset, which is pretty amazing. And so I tried that out. I look at all these apps but the thing I didn't want is I knew that when your mind is settled and calm and you're doing a meditation or a mindful practice, your mind is always, I don't know, processing sensory things, whether it be things you're hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling. Your mind is always processing. And I wanted to find a way to do a meditation that wasn't processing extra things like music. And I'm not saying that's bad. I think there's a time and a place for it too. But at the time, years ago, when I wanted to start meditating, and so I found Happier, and I loved this app because, and nobody's paying me for this, I'm not getting anything for it. But I loved this app because there were teachers that were teaching about mindset, and they were mindfulness. They were there were little courses, little mini courses I could take, like starting out with 5 minutes. It was very doable for me to just start this. And I started doing that. There was no music in the background. I loved that. So I got started with that in that way. But it's going to be different for everybody. You know, what works for you? What is a way that you can show up for yourself? And I highly recommend it first thing in the morning before you pick up your phone, before you talk to anybody, if you're able to, before you read any emails, before you get into social media. Because when you wake up in the morning, that's when your mind is the freshest and the most, I guess, like a sponge to, and clear. It's the most clear because you haven't gone into the rush of the day and all the things. So I recommend spending those times in the morning. And even if it's something as simple as 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, and then writing down some gratitude. Maybe get a journal and have some journal prompts from something like an app or whatever. But it's not like some people are like, well, I don't know how to meditate because every time I do, my mind is going to go all over the place. Well, this is the key to meditation and growing that awareness. And that's part of it. The brain is doing that and that's normal, but it's what you do with it. So the moment you recognize when your mind is wandering, that's not wrong or bad. That's normal. You recognize it and you go, "Oh, I was planning. Okay, bring it back. Come back here to this what they call an anchor." And that anchor can just be simply your breath because that's typically what they use. And then you just stay there in that concentrating and focusing on your breath and you'll find yourself, your brain will wander again. But every time that moment when you are aware that your mind has wandered and you bring it back, that's the practice of awareness. And so you're training your brain. And I just find it to be amazing and fascinating. And I know that it works because it's done wonders for me. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's super cool. And it's like building a muscle. Like you said, the more you practice it, the stronger
Yeah.
it gets and the easier it gets to do the task. And I think it is, people who are new to meditation and they start, it's just like you said, they get their mind starts spinning and then they quit. They're like, I can't do this. But
You're
that's
doing
it.
it.
It's
You're still
about,
doing it. Yeah.
you're still doing it. It's
It's
about
part of it.
pausing and saying, okay, I noticed my mind just went somewhere. And like you said, I bring it back. And then 5 seconds later, it might wander off again. And then
Yeah.
just say, oh, there it went. Okay, let's come back. And that's the practice. And like you're saying, the more often you do that, the longer those gaps will get, the longer those stretches
Yes.
when you'll get to
Yeah.
be present before your mind starts to wander. And
And sometimes you're going to have a day where your mind is wandering way more than another day. And I've learned to let go of judging it, just releasing ourselves, like no reason to judge it. It just is what it is. So at the end of a period of time of meditation, if it wasn't a day that I was really able to be more aware and in the moment, that's a good thing. Either way, it's about consistency. It's about showing up regularly to train the brain. So one day you'll be more aware and one day you won't, and it doesn't matter. The point is that you showed up and you kept showing up, and that's where the changes happen. And some of the earlier changes that I started noticing was I could get on a task, whether it be answering a bunch of emails or creating something, and rather than being distracted, I would turn off my phone signal, turn off all notifications, which to this day I don't have notifications on because that's something that can take away, my focus. And so all that's there. I will go look at it when I'm ready. But I learned early on the power of this because I was like, wow, I can actually focus for a straight this many minutes now without thinking about email or thinking about who's looking for me or who's texting me or what something's going on in social media. It's amazing. It truly is an amazing practice that I highly recommend, to all women. So,
awesome. So I want to talk more about Rock That Fitness. And since we're talking about, meditation and mindfulness and starting your day with intention, tell me what is that something that you incorporate into your training, into your teaching, into your groups? Like, is that like a module or something that you cover? Like, is it something that you talk about with your clients and, kind of lead them or guide them or kind of gently nudge them to incorporate into their practice.
So now you're challenging me. I get it. Well, up until last year, I really was only incorporating that mindset stuff mostly within our coaching because we have coaching calls every week.
Mm,
So I would help and coach during our coaching calls in that way. But yes, it's kind of intertwined in the teaching of the stuff that I coach, that I train on when it comes to nutrition. It's just part of a way of thinking about things that I incorporate when I'm teaching this stuff. But I've become more aware that probably need to have modules in this. I think it would be helpful. So the last year, I was like, I need to do that. So it's something that I am working on. I have a few things in there, but I know this is kind of like one of those things where, I want to do more in that. But, that part of us, our high achieving selves that want things to be just right. It's like I've been kind of dragging my feet, but at the same time, I'm also juggling a lot too. So giving myself some grace, but I'm absolutely excited about doing that. But this is one of the things that we do. Like I have a challenge going on right now inside of our membership. This is the Mindful March challenge this month. So it's a challenge for our ladies to show up each morning for 5 minutes to do a mindful practice of their own and to have three things that they're, write down three things that they're grateful for in their journal and then how they want to show up today. That's our mindful practice. That's a mindful March challenge that we're actually doing this month. And I've had other times where we'll do those kind of challenges during the month. And then the other piece of this is our coaching calls. And so in our coaching calls, this isn't a time for me to teach anything really. It's a time for implementation and integration of the content and the educational stuff. And that's what we do. And we get deep and like asking the questions just to help them discover what needs to happen for themselves. Because this is why what we do in Rock That Fitness is not cookie cutter. Of course, you can get all this information out there right now on the web. Talk to ChatGPT, right? You can get the education, you can get the knowledge. But the part that we need is implementation, the coaching aspect. So as a coach, I feel like it's my job to help my people, my ladies, see things in a way that maybe they hadn't just thought of before, ask the questions of themselves that they didn't think about asking for themselves so that they can discover what needs to happen next. So it becomes very individual and becomes more empowering, right? And life changing. So that's the piece where, on our coaching calls is what we're doing. And then something really cool that I pushed myself to do this year is from time to time, I'm doing guided meditations in our coaching calls. So I'm like, who am I to do this? But I've been doing it for years. So why not? Why not? I
yeah.
wanted to help my ladies, some of them, who've never done a guided meditation in their life, and do that and see what that experience is like. And it's of course different for everybody. So pushing myself in that direction, Trish. So thank you for the nudge.
No, I love it. I mean, you don't have to have like a specific module for it. I mean, you're incorporating it, and
Yeah.
I love the Mindful March challenge. It's super cool. So there are so many. I know you know this. There's so many fitness coaches out there,
Yeah.
and I was going to ask you what, from your perspective, what makes Rock That Fitness different? And I like, just from what you were just talking about, I feel like your focus on implementation and integration might be one of the things, because that's so important. And like you said, you can teach all the things, and you can teach how to do these movements correctly and how to position your body and do all those things. But then you can't be there with the person when they're in their regular life. So they can
Yeah.
just go back to whatever they were doing. So
Yeah.
and it's it's kind of like your way of doing that is you have the coaching call, so you connect in between and then say, okay, let's keep this going. Let's answer the questions here. Let's get some motivation and support. And so this is sustainable. So
Yeah.
anyway, so in addition to this integration focus, what else do you think kind of how do you see yourself as your coaching different from other fitness coaches out there?
Yeah.
Not in a better or worse way, but
Right.
you know what I
Different.
mean? Like,
What
well, how do you feel
distinguishing?
like, hey, I'm unique and different because of this?
Well, there's several things that I feel distinguishes what Rock That Fitness stands for. What makes us different? I take a lot of pride in our community of ladies that are in Rock That Fitness membership. And it all does come from the top down. It is about leadership. So it's not like I'm taking response, like it's my and I did it, no, but I am the leader of this. And so I take a lot of pride because these women are coachable. Excuse me. And the thing that I think is it's like the non-verbal, that the understood things inside of our community is the there is a frequency. The energy in this place is that we are not here to judge or compare. Um, this community is here about support, encouragement, and showing up imperfectly. And when we have permission to give ourselves permission to show up imperfectly and to allow our rock star sisters to show up imperfectly and love them right where they are, I think this is one of the biggest things that sets us apart. And it goes without saying, like we don't I want to say I don't allow this in here, but it's not like I even talk about it. But this is a place for personal growth. And the frequency in here is generally high. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity where it's like we're all just being so happy. We're talking about real life where, dang it, life gets hard. We've got things that we're dealing with day in and day out, right? We have the ups, we have the downs, and women over 40 and 50, we've got a lot of responsibility, especially with our careers, our professional lives, and our families. And now we're in a place where we're also tending to be not just the caregivers of our family, but also our parents are aging, and there's that aspect. And just a whole different journey that we are in together at this stage of our lives. But the beauty of Rock That Fitness is that we aren't pretending like that's not there, but we're here to say, I feel you, I see you, and give space to that and encourage. And the accountability here is about showing up accountable to yourself. Like, yes, this is going on, this is happening, but this is how I'm choosing to show up instead. Because the old version would have said, oh, this is happening, that's happening, and allowing external things to dictate your actions today. But this is what makes us different in Rock That Fitness. We're here to say, hey, I'm here, I'm different. This is a different way I'm gonna navigate my health and my fitness and my life. So we don't bring inside of Rock That Fitness, there is no, we're not talking any politics in here. I've never even said that, but it's not a place to talk about controversial issues, politics, even, and I'm not judging anybody who uses language, but we don't use language in here. And I've never told anybody that that was a rule. It's just, there is this sense of love and peace and high vibration in here that we don't need these things. We are here to show up as our best selves, have high expectations, high standards, but also know that this is real life and things can be tough, but we're navigating life differently and we're choosing to see things differently because, right, how you see things changes how does that go? No, that's saying.
You change the way you look at things.
When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's just that.
Yeah.
I just love our community because these women really have a genuine care for one another. In our coaching calls, there's vulnerability, there's sharing because it's a safe place to just open up and be imperfect. And this is like where we have to start. We can't have change in our lives by showing up perfectly because that doesn't exist. We can't have success in life by being successful. because we have to fall down and mess up. You got to do that to learn and be successful. So I guess I don't know. I don't know if that really answers it pointedly, but I think what sets us apart is we're doing real life together. We are approaching our health and our fitness lifestyles individually, not cookie cutter. We do have the same guidelines, but we are establishing that, I don't know, rock star mindset to navigate life as the new, improved, upgraded version. We're reprogramming, changing how we think and how we believe, and changing our habits and behaviors. So this life, this is long lasting. This is not diet mentality. We don't, that's like, that's probably one of the biggest, all those things make us very different. Does that answer your question?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Thank you. No,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Oh, before I forget, do you have a quote to share?
Oh yeah. I didn't put a lot of thought in this because I just, when you said that, I was like, oh, there's one of the quotes, and I don't know whoever coined it, but I picked it up a long time ago and I use it all the time. And that is that little by little, a little becomes a lot. And that quote can go with anything that you're working on in your life, whether it be your nutrition, your fitness, your mindset, your mindful practice. It lets you let go of perfection and just do a little. What's the little bit you can commit to right now? Because tomorrow's a little bit more, and the next day's a little bit more. And the science behind, the concept behind that is the compounding effect. That's how real results happen. That's how true and lasting change happens, is little by little, because a little becomes a lot.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Consistency.
Um, yeah, well, it's all right. So I'm going to
Does it,
share mine. I feel like it's very in line
yeah,
with what
share
we're
it.
talking about here. So this is one that I had saved. I have so many quotes saved in my phone. Like every time I hear one or
That's
read one, I'm
good.
like, I gotta save that. So success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. That's actually Winston Churchill.
Oh,
And I
beautiful.
feel like that's so perfect for this conversation. I mean, it's everything in life though, right? It's
Yeah.
the courage to continue. It's
It's
sustainability
courage.
and
Right.
really, like you're talking about changing your mindset and actually changing the trajectory of your life. So um so let's talk about, I want to talk about the different ways that people can get into Rockstar world. Like what are the different ways that they can work with you? Because I know you offer a few different things.
Well, the two ways to work with me are to join the membership. Number one, I decided to open up the doors freely, removing all barriers to entry at the beginning of the year. Before, it was always like, do this program and then you can come in. I had a block there, but when women are ready to make a change, like we don't want to wait. So you don't have to wait. You can just come right in to Rock That Fitness today and get what you need. And then the other way is my Kickstart program, which is a 6 week small group, week by week group coaching. It's a small group coaching program that I have put together to help women kickstart their own personal journey in their fat loss and building muscle and getting stronger. And we do a little bit of each thing throughout the 6 weeks, little by little, because a little will become a lot. It's just a really great way to take this kickstarting step by step, week by week, building on what you need to do to get started. It's my Kickstart program. So from time to time, I like 3 times a year, I'll do the Kickstart program, and those are the two ways to work with me.
So when someone joins the membership, what happens? Like, what are the things that happen? If I join your membership tomorrow, like what do I
So
get?
immediately you will get, so immediately you will have access to my 6 week Kickstart program, and you will do that at your, self-paced Kickstart program. But then we've got weekly coaching calls. So you can come in and share where you're at in your start. And if you have questions, that's what I'm doing. I'm here coaching and helping you along. But we also have our community where you can pop in there and ask questions and do that. You'll immediately have access to the Rock That Fitness app, where we deliver 6 weeks of strength training, structured strength training programs. I create and design the programs to help you get stronger, build muscle, and you can do those from home or at a gym. And it's very convenient on your schedule. You schedule it out on your own calendar, but I put out a new 6 week strength training program, and any level, you'll immediately have access to that. And in my app, when you do those trainings, I have all the exercises have a demonstration and full instructions, and it's very simple, user friendly, easy to use. Anyone can come in and start using that. And then, starting out with Kickstart, the program, that's where I ask people to start when they come in, because that's going to help them start right now, get started just with the basics, what you need to do for yourself right there, step by step. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think I feel like having weekly coaching calls, I mean, I feel like there's so much value just in that, because it's not just support, but it's also accountability. You're giving someone access to the app, and they can start on their own schedule, but then being able to check in once a week is that accountability. Like, how's it
Yes.
going? And what are you struggling with? Like,
Hmm.
I think that's so important. And
And we have
love
that
that you do that.
in our community. We have check-ins every week too. So
Okay.
we have an actual written check-in for everyone. And everyone checks in on Monday. There's a post that goes in. Everybody checks in with their stats for the week, with their nutrition stats, strength training stats, and a little piece of mindset thing. And then if they have questions in there. And then on Tuesdays, I go in and I review those check-ins, and I'll ask questions, pointed questions, help them clarify some things or answer any other questions that they have in those check-ins. But then our coaching calls are a time for us to come face to face on our calls and do the coaching thing together and be together. That's just strong energy to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. So is the community in Facebook, where you
Yes,
do these Monday check-ins?
our community is a private Facebook community, Rock That Fitness private Facebook community. It's private. You have to be a member to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of my app, you also, even though it's a membership, I always tell my ladies, if you have questions, please ask them in the community. That way the answer will be benefiting everyone. But if they ever have a concern or personal thing, they're always able to reach out to me in the app, in the message part of the app, one-on-one, if there's a personal issue that they're having. And I'm interacting with my ladies all of the time. So while we are a membership, I hold dearly their journeys individually. I really care about what's going on with them. And if I don't see them for a while, I like, hey, I'm just, what's new?
Yeah, where you been?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how involved and how accessible you are. I think that's really important also for women to be able
Yeah.
to stay in it, to know that
Yes.
they're not just another
That's right.
number in
They're
this
not.
group. Like,
No.
you care
No.
about everyone.
Yes, and I do. And I know it might seem like, how can you do that? I don't know. I think it's just it's something that I love so much. It's not hard. I think about people all the If I haven't seen somebody for a while, they'll get a message from me. I'm like, "Hey." Like just the other day, I'm like, "Hey, you were doing a little accountability post for yourself in the community, and I haven't seen a couple for the last couple of days. Are you still doing that?" She was like, "Oh, I didn't think anybody was going to notice that I didn't do it today or yesterday." Like, well, because I care.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I mean, I think your program is pretty standout for that reason, because you care so much.
Thank you,
And
Trish.
that's important and needed. And I just love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do too.
And of course you're on the socials, right?
Yeah. Yep. Instagram,
Um,
Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. My podcast is on YouTube as well. And my podcast is on all of the major podcast platforms,
and
Apple
it is called,
Podcast, Spotify,
and it's called,
Rock That
of
Fitness
course,
with Anna Rockstar.
Rock That Fitness. Yeah, everyone listening, you have to go follow on socials. You have to, because it's so fun. And every one of her posts, it's like she's talking to her friend, and it's
Aw,
so fun.
I
Like
need to hang out with you more. You're so
I
good for my ego,
I
Trish.
love watching your posts because you're always like, "Hey, girl, what are you doing? Here's what I'm doing." It's like you're having a conversation with like thousands of people every day.
I'm just speaking to my people. That's
But
all.
it's very real and it's very relatable, and that's why I love it, and that's why I think it's like anyway easy for people to um be able to connect and like feel, I don't know, really, it's just really easy to connect with you. So
Thank you,
yeah, I think
Trish.
your all of your content is just so, like I said, it's relatable and real and
Oh my
real.
God. I'm gonna hang out with you more because I
But you're not just like, I know I'm just like talking all about your social
you're
content, but
so
I love it.
sweet.
So because it's not just well, it goes back to how you are like a whole being coach. It goes back to that because you post stuff on your workouts and your form and how to do proper form, and then you're also like, I got this outfit on Amazon and I don't like the way it fits, and it's like
Yes.
it's
The
so
mini moo
fun.
moo.
It's everything, right? It's everything.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I've, like I say, I've come a long way in my personal growth. I'm not, where when you first starting on social media, you're always concerned about like how you might be coming across and how people see you. Well, I got over that a long time ago. And I realized I was actually talking to people that connected with me for the reasons that of who I am. And a lot of people don't know this, but I grew up in a very volatile, hard childhood. I have had a lot of trauma that I've worked through. And I've grown and I've come out of all of that. I don't live my life as a victim, but I've learned how to become my own hero, I guess, if you will. And I think each and every one of us has the ability to do that if we choose to. And I see that. I see that potential in every woman. I know I seem like a Pollyanna, but to the core, I believe in you. To the core, I know you have everything inside of you, all of the greatness inside of you to achieve whatever you want to. We are the creators of our reality. And so because I've come through like, the mud, like what is that? That flower, what's it called? The lotus. I have it here. The lotus that grows from the mud and the darkness. You are a beautiful flower. And that's why I feel like I can just talk to people because I know I'm not for everybody. I'm not, but I am for somebody. And that's the somebody that I'm talking to every day.
I don't think there's anything more to say. That's it. That's it right there. That was beautiful. And
And I'm
what a
going to come hang out with you some more, Trish.
oh, please. I don't know. I think your weather's better. I'm gonna come down there.
Yeah, really? Wait a second. You have similar weather,
I don't know.
don't
Every time
you?
no, it's colder here.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It's probably like 40 today.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, come on.
Still,
Come on.
yeah,
Come see me.
the winter
We'll go
cold
to
is
the
still
beach.
here. Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, I think that was such a beautiful way to wrap up. So
Well,
thank you
thank
for
you so
that.
much. Thank you for having me today. This has been such a great way for me to start my day. Thank you. I'm going to come
Yeah,
hang out with you for real.
let's do it. We should do more episodes together. Because
Yes, we should.
there's so much more to talk about.
Probably so. You're going to come be a guest on mine next.
Okay, fun. Super cool. Let's do
We
it.
already talked about that at BBD. I was like, you.
Yeah, after I like stopped you in the hallway and you're like, who are you, weirdo?
Yes,
Like,
who are you, girl? That
um,
was really such a great time for me, Trish. We can talk about that personally afterwards, but
we can talk about it
anyways.
offline. So
Thank you to all of your listeners for hanging out with us and listening to me. Thank you. Thanks for taking
yeah,
the
this
time.
was great. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. So it was great.
All right.
Okay, and for everyone listening or
Rock on
watching, you are enough just as you are, and you are loved. Make a great day and rock on.
and rock on.